Turn me around, keep pressing on, 'cause my soul is heavy now. Cause my soul is heaven bound.
What is happening? What is going on, man? What is the deal, man? You are back for another episode here of the Raider Rundown, man. And hey, it's the first week of the season, bro. We done made it. You feel what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody that is here that has rocked with your boy in the off season, man. It's been a long one, right? But we have finally made it to week 1 of the season, man. So of course, y'all know in true rundown fashion, man, what we're gonna do today. We're going to break it all down. We're going to give you the preview. Of course, you see we have a very special guest in the building that's going to help us break down the Patriots defense as well. You know how we get down, man. It's week 1, so we got to do it right. So you already know what time it is, man. Let's go ahead. Let's play this funky music, and let's get the show cracked. What is going on? What is the deal and what's happening? Like I said, you are back for another episode here of the Raider Rundown. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Make sure you guys are tapping on that like and that subscribe button if you're really feeling what you're hearing. At the same time, man, y'all already know what we do here, man, for your regularly scheduled programming, right? Make sure you guys are tapping on that sub button, because once we hit that 3K, we doing the Geno Smith jersey giveaway. And if Geno played away, I believe he's going to play this year. You definitely going to want to snatch you up a number 7 jersey for the season, man, so you can rock it tough and proud. You know what I mean? So make sure you guys go ahead. If you haven't shared it already to your Raider homies, your brethren, your sisters, make sure you do so, man, so they come join the rundown around here, man. So appreciate everybody for being here. Like I said, that's for your regularly scheduled programming. Now, y'all know what time it is, bro. Before we get down to any news, any guests, or whatever the case, man, I want to go ahead and hit the first segment of the show, man. And y'all already know what it is. It is called Gotta give a roll call, man. Shout out to all my peoples that is here, man. All the family. There's a lot of people on. This is not our regularly scheduled time, right? We usually go on at 6, but we appreciate y'all for rocking with us, man. Because there's a lot of people on right now as far as Raider content, but you're choosing to rock with the rundown, man. So again, appreciate you, man. DJ in the building, man. Appreciate you for always being here, family. Appreciate you. Raider Felon, what's going on with you, dog? Appreciate you for being here, bro. Space Beast, what's going on with you, dog? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Hey, every time I hear that intro, I gotta get myself ready, man. Gotta get myself ready. Space says, are we giving Marcus the Fly Guy background music of KRS-One? Like I'm gonna get you second. Hey, he gonna come over here. He might bless us with something, man. We don't know. But at the end of the day, you already know what time it is, man. Make sure you guys showing love to Marcus channel. We're gonna bring him on soon, of course. And Bloody Raider, man, what's going on with you, bro? Appreciate you for showing up as always as well, man. That Kid Flash, Marcus and Tape Don't Lie, the Ghost. Yeah, hey, they do their thing over there, man. Of course, that's why I said we got to go ahead and do it right for week 1 and bring on the brethren. We're gonna bring him on in just a minute. Y'all already know what time it is, but before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna touch on just a little bit of news, right? A little bit of news before we do bring on our guest. Now, you already know what it is, man. Make sure you guys are tapping on that like button, tapping on the subscribe button. Little bit of news that we got as far as before we bring our guest. We're gonna do a little preseason rundown real quick, and then I want his opinion as well. But as far as the preseason and everything that went down, man, it's some head scratchers for me. Coming off of here, it's definitely some head scratchers, and we're gonna talk about the depth chart, how everything fell. But as of right now, man, there are some things that have me questioning what's going to go down in the season right now. I haven't moved off of my 8-win prediction really, but as far as confidence going into the season on some of the defensive additions and some of the defensive spots, it's shaky, right? It's shaky, and we're going to talk about the depth chart with Marcus in here in just a minute. But like as far as the depth chart, looking at it, we can't have no confidence in the corner room. There are certain rooms on this defense where we got to sit here and say we got to throw our hands up and hope that Jesus takes the wheel. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at. But now, what I want to do, man, I want to go ahead and bring our guest on so we get his full opinion, man. Y'all see him on his own show, Tape Don't Lie, man. He also does the Raider Tailgate at certain times, man, in the morning. But y'all know him for Tape Don't Lie, breaking down film, breaking down Raiders film, giving y'all all the Raider knowledge y'all can get, man. So want to bring on our guest. Without further ado, y'all already know what time it is. Make sure y'all give a warm rundown welcome to the guy, man, the man, Marcus Johnson in the building, man. What's going on?
What's good, y'all? What's good?
Man, hey, as always, it's a great time when we link up, as always, man. And of course, like I said, I got to get you inside. It's week 1, so I got to bring on the experts, man, that really know what they talking about around here. But before we get on to week 1, preseason, right? What's kind of your takeaways from what you saw leading into this? Because then we'll talk about the depth chart, of course, because that kind of led into the depth chart too.
Yeah, from the preseason, what I watched and what I saw is just a little bit from the secondary is going to be a little iffy. I think I'm a little bit worried about the linebackers and pass coverage. That's probably the biggest thing I took from the 49ers game when they went out there and played. So I think those guys are going to be a little bit to deal with, but I think they're going to be really good against the run. So it's going to kind of maybe even out a little bit against some teams, but some teams are going to get attacked a lot, and it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, I would say, to deal with that. But besides that, I mean, the secondary is a little bit scary there, but I think the safeties are a bigger problem than the corners, in my personal opinion. I mean, I think the corners, I think you can cover up corners a little bit. I think the safeties, but you need good safeties to do that, and the Raiders really don't have those true stud safeties right now to kind of cover that up. So I think there's going to be a little bit of issue there. But yeah, and then, on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, we really didn't see too much. Aston Jersey looked good when they did run, but we really haven't seen anything. That's what I would say about the offensive side of the ball. But I think the defensive line is going to be pretty decent, and from the looks of it, I mean, it should be those are players where you're having some good pass rush going, and and they're really getting things done that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I could definitely see that. Now, it's interesting you say that about the safeties. For me, I like the safeties, but my whole issue for the offseason has been, and I kind of want your take on this, I don't know if there's a true free safety in the room. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a room full of strong safeties. If we're gonna be honest with it, it's a room full of box strong safeties. Because I like Palomar and I'm a fan of him, but at the same time, I don't think that's his natural position is not a free roaming safety to me. I don't think it is. So, do you think that's kind of the issue on why we might have some struggling with the safeties?
Yeah, I mean, well, Chris Smith is a natural free safety, though. I think that's the type of guy that he is a natural one, but I don't know if he's a good one.
Yeah,
but he is a free safety, right? He is a free safety. He's probably like the only guy with the natural position, but I think they want Palomar to play free safety for the most part. So that would be my thought process with that, is that they think Palomar is a free safety. So even if we don't think he's a free safety, they do. They think he could play that position. I mean, that's what he played in preseason. He played that position a lot. So I would expect that to keep going with that. And it's just, yeah, you're right. I mean, they don't have any really true, free safeties, even though, Edmonds is not a true free safety either if he's on the practice squad. McCallum, I guess he's a little bit more of a free safety, but, I don't know too much about McCallum, but I know that, he's plays more in the box too, in my opinion. But yeah, but they think Isaiah Paloma's free safety. So that's your starting free safety right there is Isaiah Palomar.
Which I'm not going to be too mad at. Like, again, I like Palomar. I've believed in his progression up to this point. I've been wanting him to play for a while, but it's just, I don't know if free safety is the deal. Now, this is the thing, though. I really worry about that D-line. I'm questioning why a lot of people are not worrying about the D-line. Now, I think they'll be okay, but this is the thing. I don't think we're going to get the type of pressure that everybody is expecting. That expect us to get. With Wilkins here, I'm fine with it. I think we have a great rotation if Wilkins is still here. You know what I mean? We can use the rookies, some of the quote unquote veterans that's right there. But right now, I feel like we're relying on guys to do more than what they can do at this point. I mean, how do you feel about that?
I'm a little higher on the defense line than you. I think at defensive tackle, when they are going on first and second down, I mean, I'm a little worried about that because, I know a lot of people like Thomas Booker, but I think Booker's more like a hustle player than he's a good player, right? Yeah. And he doesn't really get a lot of penetration unless he wins off the line immediately. He really can't do anything else after that. But I believe as a pass rush, the third down pass rush from Malcolm Kuntz, Tyree Wilson, Adam Butler, and Max Crosby, I think they're going to be able to get after some people. I think Tyree's going to play a little better inside. I thought Kuntz was taken off the last two preseason games. And I also think that Max, what I'll say about this is that he wasn't going full speed all the time in preseason. I would say that. Yeah. Right. So I think this week, they have a good matchup. A guy going against Max Crosby is, a very older player, Morgan Moses. Definitely somebody that Max can beat. And then you got Kuntz is going to get up against a rookie, Will Campbell, who is a top 5 pick, right? So, he's going to be better than, most rookies. But I would say that, you expect Kuntz to win there. And then I think Adam Butler has a chance to really eat against another rookie, Jared Wilson. So I think we're going to see that defensive line play a lot better than we think if they can get stop the run. I mean, that's going to be the key thing to them. And it's going to be interesting to see that because, Adam Butler being out there all the time is not really the best outlook, I would say, for, having a run defense. But we'll see what they do out there and how they line up to stop the run, because that's going to be key to this game this week. But I'm a little higher on the defensive line than you. I think on third down, I think they're going to be pretty damn good.
See, okay, and that's against the run. I'm with you. I think we're going to be really damn good against the run. I can kind of see it already. The way we were playing in the preseason. As far as this game goes, I like Will Campbell, but I don't think he's who the Chargers get, like Joe Alt. I don't think he's Joe Alt. I will say that. So I think Malcolm Kuntz should be able to have some success over there. My thing is, Marcus, and right? We all make content. You know what time it is. You bring up Tyree Wilson's name, you're gonna start some type of riot or conflict within your comment section or something, bro. Because at the end of the day, everybody you're either on the train, you do not believe he's gonna do what we think he should be doing, or you feel that the breakout is coming. I'm in the middle, kind of like I feel like he's progressed. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say he has not progressed because I feel like that's disingenuous. But I don't think he's progressed to the point where everybody is expecting like what we need. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where I'm at. Where it's like everybody's like, oh yeah, 8 sacks, 10 sacks from the inside, and I'm like, all right, slow your roll now. Slow your roll. I don't know about no 10 sacks. How you feel about that?
I thought he played pretty well in the preseason. I think with the position that they're trying to play him at and what they're trying to do, I thought he did well for just playing inside and playing on third down. I think we're not going to see him that much on the field on first and second down. I think that, Les Kuntz doesn't play very well. I think you're going to see him mostly on third down. So it's going to be most of those snaps. So it's going to be, it probably be like 25, 28 snaps a game, maybe. You're going to be seeing of him. If they're playing a different team and, they're not able to stop the run, you're going to see less of him. But it all depends because, if they do play him on the run, it's going to be when they're in oversets and you're going to be playing him at defensive end or the 5 technique where he's lined up over the tackle and then have Malcolm Kuntz on the other side of him. So basically, he would be what you would say where J.J. Watt would play if you guys wanted a picture of that in your head. So basically kind of that type of defensive end. He does play on first down or second down, but I think his role is going to be there where if he has a good role, then maybe he can get to, I'm not going to say 8 or 10, but maybe he can get to 6 or something like that. Right. Especially if Kuntz has a big year, because I think Kuntz is healthy, and I think that's going to be a big difference for them too.
Now, I know people were scared, right? Some people were scared about Kuntz in the preseason because I guess, we weren't really seeing it like that. Now that last game, he turned it on. Do you think that's kind of more of like how you were talking about with Max? Not really, you know what I mean? He's not really doing all like he's like going all out like he wants to, or you think maybe he's just slow getting to it right now?
I thought the second preseason game, I thought he played really well too. I thought there was some pressure there. I thought he got some bull rush pressure there. I think the problem, was kind of week 1. He really didn't do anything, but I thought week 2 and week 3, he definitely kind of start to take off, you know what I mean, a little bit. Yeah. So you can kind of see the bend and stuff like that. He got some pressure. And I thought it helped Tyree a little bit inside too. When they were on third down, he was getting some pressure, but then, like I said, you saw it again in the third preseason game. So I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to, he has a good matchup this week. We'll see what he does. But I do like him as a player. So, I kind of expect him maybe to kind of show out a little bit this year and, kind of show that if he has that bend and then hope if that happens, then he can get paid. But he is playing for some money too. So I think this could be a big factor with him as well. Because, he got a decent contract for just for the, what he did the year before. Right. So 2023, I mean, but I do believe that he's playing for money, so I think we're going to see the best out of him as well. And, because even if he plays really well and the Raiders don't pay him, somebody is going to pay him.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So that's right. So it's a big year for him regardless. And, usually when guys have money dangled in front of them, they play pretty well.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm expecting him to have a good game. Like, again, I like Will Campbell, but I don't think he's Joe Alt or anything like that. I think, especially with a guy like Kuntz, he can struggle with that type of bend. So I think, we might be able to see some. Now, getting off of preseason, of course, Marcus, it's not Raiders off season without a little bit of drama. What time it is. We gotta go through our daily dose of bullshit when it comes to this team. And it comes in the form of Jacoby Myers. Now, before, we get into his comments and all that, like, what's your thoughts on this contract dispute as far as him and the Raiders?
I think it's the factor of this is more about Jack Besh. I think Jack Besh is kind of like that little bit of that, a little bit of that replacement, that outlook. Like, okay, we have Besh, we have a replacement for Jacoby Myers, so I think they want to see him play a little bit. I think they want to see they want to see him be a huge factor, and I think he's got to go out there and have a big season. in order for yeah, I agree with that. My DJ there. Yeah, and I really like Jacoby Myers. I thought Myers showed a lot last year, being able to play outside, and that's something that he wasn't really able to do. And he, took that role and he really balled out late in the season. So I think that if they want to, pay him, it's going to be after he just balls out, like during the season, because the contract, it's not like you can't do an extension during the season. So I think that he's going to have to go ball out a little bit for him to get that contract, because Jack Best is sitting there, just like, if Charles Grant was more ready, my dude Glenn said this. If Charles Grant was more ready, we'd probably see Colton Miller.
I said that too. Yeah, right? I'm really with that.
But I do think Charles Grant played really well at the last couple of preseason games. I do believe that. But I really feel like they should see what he could do at right tackle. And I know I heard that he did that in practice a little bit. But but it's kind of the same thing. But with Jack Best, I thought he had a good preseason game week 2. So I think there's a huge factor there with him too as well, because I think he is showing he's a pretty good player, and we'll see what happens with him. And him, working with Dante Thornton as well. Dante Thornton can't keep struggling to beat press coverage at a point in times, and he might try to turn to Jack Best for something. So we'll see how that goes too as well. But yeah, I think it's a little bit about that.
We can get into the weeds of it, because I've been saying the same thing on here, Marcus. I really think that, Jack Best is a factor. And the whole thing is, this is where I'm confused though. I personally think Best is better in the slot, right? Like, he's a better kind of slot receiver. He has the two-way go and all that. But they're sticking this man in the outside religiously. Like, they're just saying he's an outside receiver. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but as of right now, Jacoby is, dominating that slot space. Do you think that's kind of a tool where they're like, nah, we want to see him in that position right here, but we really can't put him there because Jacoby's here? Like, that's the whole thing.
Yeah. I think he's better than outside than a lot of people give him credit for. To be honest, I do. I think he's a better outside than, I see that narrative about him having to play inside, and I just think when you watch his film in college, like if you really deep dive to it, you don't kind of just stick him into a certain box. There's a lot of times where he was winning outside a lot. I mean, he made Melo Dotson, who was on this Raiders roster for a little bit, but he worked him on a lot of releases, and he knows what he's doing, right? He knows how to win. He knows he knows all the releases, diamond releases, all these type of things, and he's and he can win deep. He can beat press. He's physical, so there's a couple times where he went outside, playing in preseason. So I think he's a little bit better than that people give him credit for. But I probably his best fit is inside. I agree with that, but I think there is, he could be more of that Z like Jacoby Myers, where you can move him in and out, right? And it doesn't have to play at one spot. But, I do think he can win outside a little bit more than people give him credit for.
Okay. Shout out 2 cents. And I'm not of this mindset because, a lot of people were getting on Bish in the preseason because they said he was quiet. He didn't really do anything. I kind of pushed back on that a little bit. I feel that what I saw out of Bish, now it wasn't a lot, right? It wasn't a lot. But what I saw, I kept saying I want to see him play more. Like there's just every time I saw him play, get on the field, it made me walk away saying I think he needs more time. Where are you right? Because they signed Amari Cooper, so that immediately made people say like, oh well, that's Besh, because Besh ain't already play and he's not gonna get no time. Where are you on that? Because for me, I'm not really concerned about Besh like other people.
Yeah, I thought. He played well against the Niners. I thought there was moments against the Seahawks where Aiden O'Connell just kind of missed him, and that's the only things I'm going to see on film is him running a great route. So, if you don't see those things, then I could see how you can come to that conclusion. But I think that he's just. I would say that he's not like fully ready to go. But if somebody went down, I wouldn't feel too bad with him being out there, and I think that's why they have that depth. But you usually got to carry 5 wide receivers, and I think they don't like the other wide receivers they have. So I think that's a bigger factor with Amari Cooper coming in. But I think Best, he's going to get better and better as the season goes along. But I just think as a route runner, he's pretty refined. So I think he knows his limitations, knows what he can and can't do, and he's pretty self-aware of himself, and he knows how to run routes and knows how to get separation, even though there is some lack of limitations. You saw it at the Senior Bowl and all that stuff, and that's why he ended up going higher than he thought. But I was higher on Jack Best than a lot of people coming out.
Same. From the Senior Bowl, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, I like this dude. I didn't think we were gonna get him, but I did like him out of that Senior Bowl. Now, there are little comments, of course, we're gonna touch on it. Jacoby talking about kind of why he came back to the team and all the extras. So this is a little bit from Jacoby's own words on why he came back, how he feels about the trade.
Like separating the business from still being here and doing your job.
I mean, that's probably the hardest part. But honestly, I gotta give a shout out to my teammates, because if it wasn't for them, I probably would have did the same thing everybody else do. But you got to find a way to separate yourself, honestly, from just like you said, the BS and just all the business. But at the end of the day, my teammates got my back, I got their back, and I'm gonna just rock out with them.
How do you go about?
Do you think there's a chance the deal will get done, or you think it's not going to happen now?
I honestly don't even know, to be honest. But we're gonna see. We all gonna find out together. Whatever they want to do, they want to do. But I ain't tripping. If they don't, I'm gonna be good regardless. You feel me? So we chilling.
Do you think there's
Like a guy with a chip on his shoulder, 1,000-yard season, proved a lot last year and the year before that as well with 11 touchdowns. Do you still feel like you're a guy with a chip on his shoulder?
I mean, yeah, clearly, like, I got to. They're not gonna make it easy on me, but it's gonna all pay out in the end, honestly. And I'm gonna probably still have that chip even when I get what I need or get what I feel like I deserve. But that's just something that I like about myself personally, and I'm gonna try to keep it that way.
Yeah, so that's Jacoby. Talking about some of the contract stuff. That's another reason why I feel like he needs to be paid, man. I mean, the example that he sets, I would say, is something that you could take in the locker room. But we'll see what they do, and yeah. I think you're kind of right where they're probably going to wait until the season to see like what type of contribution he's making. You know what I mean? What the offense made, what the offense looks like, and then from there they'll make that decision. But I don't know, man. I just think we probably should have paid him, but it depends what he's asking for. I mean, have you heard any numbers?
I heard like around 26. That's what people are talking about, like 25. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And also, I think a factor here too. I think it's Trey Tucker. I think Tucker looks really good on film, and
I'm a believer, man. I'm a believer.
So some people aren't. What if Tucker blows up? He ends up being that guy. Maybe they feel like that they can deal with that. So there's a lot of factors with Jacoby Myers. A lot more factors, in my opinion. And I think he's got to just ball out to get that money.
I think it's not even in a disrespectful way, but I think it's caught up to the point where it's like he has a ceiling as far as Jacoby. I think there's a ceiling, and I don't think like we can get more than that ceiling. You know what I mean? Like I think that's kind of what they're looking at a little bit. Where Trey is nowhere near it. You know what I mean? He's nowhere near that ceiling. I mean, you look at the two rookies we got; they're nowhere near that. And we'll talk about Thornton in a minute, but I think that's kind of getting to it because how old is Jacoby running around? 30 or something?
Yeah, he's got to be 30. Got to be 30, 29.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's an older player coming out.
Okay. So at that point, you're looking like, okay, well, how much more?
Oh, he's 28.
Okay. I don't know. I think his game is his game at this point. You know what I mean? I don't think we're gonna see much more out of. I just think he's a steady presence. You know what I mean? And that's cool. But 26 to me is a lot. That might be a little much for me. I don't know about you, but I was sitting at 23. That's kind of where I was because Deebo Samuel making that, Calvin Ridley, Michael Pittman Jr. I think he's around that range. You know what I mean? So, but that's just me.
Yeah, and Cooper Kupp got like 15. Is he better than Cooper Kupp? I mean, that's things he's got to think about too. So,
well, at this stage of Cooper's career, you can ask because I don't know. Cooper playing like 6 games a year at this point. Yeah, he playing like 6 games a year. But we're gonna talk about.
He's also 32. He's 32 as well.
Cool. He's 32. Damn, I didn't know that. I did not know that. I'm
either.
Old. But let's talk about the anomaly on the wide receiver room, right? Because it seems like I'm not arguments, but I'm getting in disagreements with people daily about Thornton, right? I'm getting in disagreements daily. Now, I feel like the disagreement comes from some people believe he's more ready than I think he actually is right now. I think some people are, for example, if we were to just say, hey, go out there against Christian Gonzalez or some of these guys and try to win 10 routes, I don't know how many of them routes he's winning against them type of corner. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where I'm at. Now, of course, that's upper echelon type of corner. But as far as Yeah, I mean, we're playing guys this year. I mean, so it's not like we can hide them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like they're gonna try to get him there. I think his route running still needs work. That's where I'm at, and I'm not the biggest fans of his hands either. I still think he body catches certain things that kind of
Yeah.
gets to me. But where are you at on Thornton right now? Because I know a lot of people are high, and he's starting, right? He's a starter now.
I think with Thornton, yeah, he needs a lot of work. He needs a refinement as a wide receiver.
Yes.
That's just the main thing with him is that he's got to work on beating press. He's got to work on his releases. He's got to get cleaner there. When to look for the football. All these just the little tiny receiver things that you don't talk about a lot. Just like when on the pass he missed with against the Niners. With him and Geno Smith. Didn't get to connect on one of the deep routes that he actually had a good
run
on that one.
He just runs, like he's got it.
He looked back too quickly. So it's things like that with Dante Thornton. Dante Thornton has to get better at those type of things. And my thing is, we haven't seen what Chip Kelly's going to do, and it just came to my mind where we're thinking about this, but Chip Kelly might move these guys around, and I think if you move him inside and get him on safeties, I mean, it doesn't matter when he runs. So what I mean, and we're not seeing what Chip Kelly has really cooked up. And we kind of just saw the most basic offense in the world. So, nobody motioned, nobody moved. So I know they're going to do some crazy stuff and try to mix it up and, try to get people off guard. And, every time people went to practice, they talked about how crazy the offense looked. So I don't even think we've seen what he really looks like, to be honest. So because that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I mean, you have all these speed and you have, these safeties out here in the league that can't hang with these guys, and you can move them around and find matchups. Right. That's what you got to do with Thornton. I don't think you just throw Thornton outside and be like, win. Nah, you got to get him like in condensed sets and things like that, where he's having releases, where he's going against players that can't hang with him at all. It doesn't matter what his releases or his route running skill is, right? He can just run past them. So
now, that's it right there, though. That's it right there. What you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the thing. And I do believe that Chip Kelly will get creative. So, I don't know if we've seen him do what he's actually going to do. So
right.
It's gonna be interesting to see how Chip Kelly uses him. But I think the main factor is just throw him outside. That's probably not going to work. But I think if you move him around and get some different looks and get him some good matchups where the guys can't hold him, then yeah, for sure.
You're 100% on that, because I think not a lot of people are even thinking about him playing slot, right? Because he's so big and so fast. But to your point, right? Like, you could scheme him to play slot. I mean, if he was on his own on one side of the formation, you can motion somebody over, like you said, and all of a sudden he becomes slot. All of a sudden, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now you gotta figure that out. So I'm exactly with you. And as far as now, we just talked about it. How many out of 10 reps would he win on the outside? Now, if you switch that to going against safeties and slots, my confidence goes way up. You know what I mean? As far as how many routes he can win or what he can win on the inside. But like you saying, I just think the refinement just needs to be there. That's it. I do see the tools. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't see the tools, but I just think, I think Geno said it too. More work, you know what I mean? Just more progression is needed, because I don't think he's anywhere near where he needs to be right now, at all.
Yeah, and even when I say inside in the slot, he can be the last guy on the other side and be in a condensed set, and you can still get those matchups because, corners or sometimes there are certain zone coverages are going to be more outside of him, and you can still get him an inside release. So it's just being creative. I think they got to do that with him to get him some looks, and maybe just run some over routes with him and things like that, where he's getting those looks where he could just catch the ball and use his speed.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna give him credit on this, because I love when receivers do this. I love the way he blocks, though. He is gonna block his ass off, and I saw it a couple times in the preseason where he was blocking, and I was okay. That's what I like. That's probably why he's playing too. I mean, you're not gonna play with Chip Kelly, and you're not blocking out there as a receiver. That's a surefire way to see the bench with Chip Kelly. I will say that. So DJ asked this: do y'all think the Chip Kelly offense will fizzle out after week 6 like Gruden's did?
To be honest, I mean, that's a good question, and I think I don't know if it'll be like week 6. I think it's gonna take longer than that. You got to think about Mike McDaniel, right?
Okay.
I want you to think like that, like what Mike McDaniels does. Mike McDaniels at least gets to like week 12, week 13 before they start. Yeah, right. And teams started figuring him out. It took him a while early on too, right? And people are like, "Oh my God, Tua's out here balling," right? And then teams started to figure him out a little bit later on in the season. And they kind of fell off, and then when they win the playoffs, they didn't have the success that they would always think they would have. And that same thing happened in 2023 when they came out like guns blazing, and they came out looking like they're just unstoppable offense, right? But eventually,
after that,
but we'll see. I think it's gonna be up to Chip to kind of keep things kind of hidden early on and start building on things, and to be honest with offensive football, everybody's kind of running the same concepts. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you that, like, it's not really that in depth as we try to make it. It's like how you show it. And I think that's where Chip Kelly has to get creative later on in the season, is like, okay, we gave him a look here with this route. We got to give him a different look here with this route, where we're like, where one time it was condensed here, the next time it's spread out, same concept, but you just got to give people different looks, keep them off guard, so they don't. Because if you keep giving people the same look, then they catch on. But if you do things from different looks and different motions and same concept, but it's a different look, different motion, different everything, then you're gonna see him get better as a season. And that's what kind of Shanahan does, where it's kind of the same West Coast offense, but it's all how he dresses it up, and that's really what's important. And see how Chip Kelly does that.
Yeah, and see, I'm confident with Chip. I mean, I know it's college last year, but even last year at Ohio State, I kind of you saw him do that a little bit, where he, as the year went on, especially when the championship run went down, it could tell like he had teams on their toes in that championship run. It looked like he was scheming different things where teams didn't really know what they were doing. And I think a thing that can really help it as well, and because we're talking about Mike McDaniel, and I'm keeping him in the back of my mind, but the thing that can help us, I believe, that run game. The run game, if you can take it anywhere, you always have that. You know what I mean? You will always have it. So I think we can help with that physicality. But personally, I think Chip is going to be one of the more important additions of the team. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm very confident in what Chip will be able to bring. Just for the standpoint, it's going to be a better offensive showing than what we've seen the last couple of years. I'll say that. Now that might not mean much because we was over there watching Luke Getsy and all this extra, but hey, still though, I feel like it'll be at least more watchable than what it's been. I will say that. So, speaking of the most important thing of it though, I think we kind of both know what's the most important thing of both Pete's philosophy and Chip's philosophy. Running that ball, right? We're gonna put it on the ground. I think they're gonna put it on the ground. What are you expecting from Ashton Jeanty? Let's put it right there. What's the deal with you as far as Jeanty, your expectations?
Yeah, they're pretty high. I think he's gonna have a good year. I think he's gonna have a pretty big year. I'm not gonna say he's gonna lead the league in rushing or anything like that, but I think he's gonna be up there. I think he's, I think Chip, what he does best is the run game, right?
Yeah,
that's what he does best. And the creativity I think that he can do now in the NFL is going to be exciting. And once you see that orbit motion from Ashton Jeanty, and he runs a counter, it's gonna go off, and teams are gonna be a little caught off guard. I mean, Chip Kelly's a crazy man. Like he'll pull 4 linemen. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. We haven't seen anything.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And that's why, I'm kind of excited for week 1 because I'm really excited to see what he does. I know he's gonna have something for them boys. Like they don't even know. Nobody knows. Mike Vrabel doesn't know. They're probably trying to look at that college tape. They're trying to figure out what Chip Kelly likes to do in college, but he can't do that stuff in college. And it looked like he had pretty good spacing from his players, and so that was my biggest issue. And I think he kind of has that too. He has a spacing understanding just because he's in the NFL before. So he kind of stands the spacing, right? And I think that was a problem with Ryan Grubbs in Seattle, who was with Gino. Like he couldn't figure out the spacing in the NFL, and it's because it's not college. You don't have all that spread out.
College is so wide, yeah.
The hashes, right? And that's a big thing with him. We haven't seen anything, man. I don't know what the hell I don't know what is gonna happen, but I'm excited. That's all I know, and I know the run game is gonna be super creative, and I think Brock Bowers can get involved in it.
Oh yeah.
We're going to see some crazy reverses with Brock Bowers. I think he's going to get creative. Like, he has nothing else to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have Mayer, right, that can always play that inline Y if you need him to, right? You can play that, and then you can move Bowers wherever you wish at that point. So I'm right with you. Now for me, Genty, I've always said, right, I don't care what it sounds like. I want what Saquon did for the Giants his first year, right? Okay. And then if you look at it, he had 2,000 all-purpose, dog. That's what he had. You know what I mean? Saquon, he came in there, and I'm not gonna say he led him to the playoffs or whatever, but you immediately saw with Saquon, like, yeah, this dude's different. He changed at least the offense. You know what I mean? He changed it. Do you think that's feasible for Genty to ask for something like that? Well, at the end of the day, right, the talk is the talk. Yeah. I think his talent, he can get that. You know what I mean? But as far as to pay off, I think a lot of people did it injustice when they were talking about this generational stuff. That's a whole different thing. But at the end of the day, I think to pay it off, I think to get that Saquon rookie year numbers would suffice for me. Where are you at?
You know, I would expect that. I mean, the thing is, like, he's gonna get the ball a lot. So right. You know, whatever yards we add up, you know, it all depends to me how big of a season he has is his yards per carry. That's what, because if he has like a 5, he's going off, right? But if it's like 4.4, he's still gonna have like 1,300 yards, right? Because I think he's gonna have a lot of carries, especially late in the games in the fourth quarter. I think the Raiders are gonna come out passing, you know, at first, and then you kind of try to build and use the run game later on. I think that's gonna be a huge factor. I think they do that this week. I mean, they should, because unless Milton Williams is on the field, and he's on the field the first and second down, then yeah, you could run right at him. But with the other things, you know, kind of the other elements of that, I think that you have to pass first a little bit and don't stick to the run game. But I do think he's going to have plenty of carries where he's going to have over, you know, 1,200 to 1,300 yards, regardless of what we think how he played overall. But where the big season comes in is the yards per carry. Like I'm saying, if he's at the 5s, then it's going to be a huge year for him, right? And the offense is going to be hard to stop because teams have to worry about Genty. They're going to have to play single high. And that's going to give one-on-ones and easy zone coverage for Gino to you know, dominate against. So yeah, it's going to be a big year for, you know, Genty from that perspective if he has a high yards per carry. But I think he's going to have the yards regardless, to be honest.
Well, yeah, you know, the yards really, I'm not going to say it's easy, but I mean 80 yards per game gets you around like 1,200, damn near 1,300 yards. So it's like, you know, that he can get that in his sleep, but. Where I'm at, that's why I said, you know, I want to take it another level. Because again, we're looking at dudes like Najee Harris, and he's asking for big money. But then when you look at him, he's only getting like 1,200 yards a game or season, and you're like, that's only 80 yards a game. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's nothing impressive. And for me though, you're right, because then yards per carry, he averaged 4.8 in the preseason, right? In the preseason, he averaged 4.8. So if we can get that, we're eating. And then we're not even talking about how Chip might use him in that receiving game. Because I know a lot of people, you know, we go back to that 2023 year for him, where he did a lot of that with Boise State receiving and all that. So I don't think people kind of understand what we'll get out of him as a receiver. Now, I went to a practice. As far as a receiver, I have yet to see a linebacker or somebody cover him. This whole offseason, I've yet to see it. Can you kind of detail for the people what they might see as far as a receiver? Because I don't think people understand it yet.
I think we're gonna see a lot. I think I'm sorry. I think they're gonna be really creative.
Yeah,
and you know, just moving him around, even put him in the slot, have him running some run routes out of the slot too. You know, I think there's gonna be something that we're gonna see, some of those wheel routes out of the backfield that the Patriots like to run. You know, Chip created the mesh wheel. I don't know if you ever heard of that play.
Really?
That's his play. I mean,
I didn't know that was him, though.
Yeah, that's his play. I mean,
that's crazy.
I mean, I don't know if he created it. I'm not gonna say that because, you know, football.
But he made it with, you know, I get what you're saying though.
Yeah. The mesh wheel is Chip Kelly's staple,
right?
And you know, that's a play we haven't seen. We didn't see. Did we see mesh wheel in preseason? No.
Hell no.
So those plays are coming. Right, and you know, I know he's going to run chip mesh wheel. He ran it with Henderson. That's one of his staples of his offense is mesh wheel. So yeah, he's going to get creative. I think Genty's going to get the ball. I did have to go look up Saquon stats, but if he has 121 targets, I'll be upset. So I'm not gonna. I don't want that. But Yeah, I had to go look it up. I was interested to see, man, how did he get 700 yards? And I was like, oh, that's Daniel Jones, 121.
Yeah, Daniel Jones over there throwing him all types of fucking hospital balls. So yeah, I don't think he'll have that. 700 might be a little steep, but I can see him getting 500 easy though. Like you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
I can see him getting 500 easy. At least somewhere around 1,800 yards. You know what I mean? That all purpose. Now we cooking. You know what I mean? We're cooking because I don't know what if he has 1,800 yards all purpose, then everybody else around him probably got some crazy numbers as well. We don't even know about Bowers and everybody else. So I think that'd be it. Now, before we get on out of here, appreciate everybody for tapping in. Make sure you hitting that like button. Tap in with Marcus and Tape Don't Lie as well if you haven't already. But if you haven't, make sure you tapping in with that. But I definitely want to go ahead and kind of detail a little bit strengths, weaknesses, kind of what maybe we can expect they attack, right? So, I mean, we can start with their defensive strengths, right? Patriots defensive strengths. For me, man, that D-line ain't nothing to mess with now. I think they got to I'm not gonna say it's an all-pro D-line, but they're physical, right? They're physical. We're not just gonna push them around. I can see that. Spillane is there, he's physical. Christian Gonzalez, I don't know if he'll play. That's the thing. I don't know the deal. If he doesn't play, that's a significant loss. But if he does, as I kind of suspected, I see him going on Brock, right? Because I mean, as far as everybody in pass catchers, he's probably the most threat, but I don't see him being on Brock 24/7. I mean, where are their strengths to you as far as the Patriots? What do they do really well? What can they do well? And they got Vrabel too, so.
I'll speak on just Vrabel's defense. I think Vrabel, what he likes to do, he's very creative when like switching up looks.
Right.
Just historically with his defenses, they switch up looks a lot. It's not really the full Patriots man-to-man defense, but he really depends on having a really good safety, which they really don't have right now. Like you have Kevin Byard in Tennessee. They really don't have that guy. I guess he doesn't like Kyle Duggar. I don't know what that is about, but
yeah, I thought Duggar was nice. I thought he was good.
I don't know, but yeah, I think he is kind of going to switch up the looks on Geno Smith. He'll have like a safety lined up at slot, and that dude would drop all the way back. He does things like that, right? I mean, that's what Vrabel does. So he's going to switch it up on Geno and try to make Geno read the field really well. What I would say with the Patriots' strengths, though, right? I would say it's mostly defensive line, just because just when you look at the group that they have, they're pretty damn good. And even Christian Barmore, even though I do think they have a serious weakness at the defensive line, which is you can run the ball on them. Okay. Especially Milton Williams and Christian Barmore and Harold Landry, those guys, they can get after the passer.
Right.
Just historically, especially like Milton Williams and even Christian Barmore, who's never really been a good run defender in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You can run the ball at those guys. So that's the thing. But, it's going to be more about if they get the third and long and things like that. We're going to see how good, Parham's gotten better. He had a really good preseason. You're going to see if Jordan Meredith is in JPJ, what they can really do from the center position is going to be key because, that's not saying JPJ. I said JPJ at the center position, but those three interior offensive linemen
in Madden in our dreams, Marcus.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, what those three defensive offensive linemen in the interior can do, I think it's going to be a huge factor. I think I forgot who plays outside for the other defensive end, but I know it's not Keon White anymore. I think it was somebody else. He got beat out, but
is it Chase on? Is Chase on?
Oh yeah, that's who it was. Chase on.
Okay.
So that's Glaze. Chase on might give Glaze some problems because what Glaze's biggest problem is speed. So
that does scare me. I will say that does scare me.
We'll see how that goes, but I think that's going to be the biggest issue. I think Christian Ellis can guard really well, but I think you can attack Spillane in coverage, especially if they end up playing a lot of quarters like Vrabel likes to play. You can actually get him in some one-on-ones, and you can attack him with Ashton Genty or even like any inside slot receiver. So
easy work,
right? Or Brock Bowers, those type of things. So and I think outside the secondary, they're pretty good though. They got Gonzalez. I think they signed another good player too here. I was trying to pull up.
I feel like they did. I'm trying to figure out. I know they got somebody in free agency where I was like, God damn it, because I think I wanted them as far as a corner. Let me see. Because I know they were making hella signings.
It was. I got it pulled up here. It was Carlton Davis.
There we go. There we go.
So he's a good player. So if the Raiders really want to attack him, they got to attack inside. I think this is gonna be a big Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer game, in my opinion.
Yeah, because there's not a linebacker on that squad that I think they can that can really mess with Brock. Now, they had a linebacker, and I believe they released him, and I don't think he's even been re-signed. There was a linebacker, I forgot his name, man, and they released him, and he was actually like one of their captains or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And now they have not re-signed him, but I believe they replaced him with that Ellis dude that you were talking about.
But Juwan Bentley, is that what it is?
Bentley, there we go. Bentley. I know they got rid of Bentley early on, but I know they re-signed Ellis in the quickness after they got rid of Bentley, and we were supposed to get Ellis, if I'm not mistaken. We were supposed to get him. And they said, hell no, y'all not doing that. They got him quick. So I would suspect he's going to probably be that coverage linebacker because we know for damn sure it ain't Spillane, right? We know Spillane is not that coverage guy. But if Gonzalez does not play, right, and it's trending that way, because if you're talking about a hamstring and you ain't practiced at all, it's kind of hard for me to see you just get up out there, you know what I mean, and you're ready to just go full speed. Now, he might, but that's kind of hard. Now, we talked about the strengths, weaknesses, right? If he's not out there, where can we exploit? I mean, where can we exploit as far as their defense in general? I know you said something about their run defense, too.
Yeah, they got to go after the run. They got to run the ball on them. I mean, that's the big thing. I mean, even Chase not the best run defender either. You got to run the ball on these guys. Barmore, Milton Williams, and unless they're going to put Tonga out there a lot, maybe, and try to go line up 5 across, maybe. I mean, that's their plan. I mean, I do see that. I'm looking at the roster here. They got, they are labeled as outside linebackers, so maybe that's their plan. They'll kind of do a kind of over front or 3-4 front,
right?
People call it. So maybe that's their plan to kind of do that and get Tonga out there. But yeah, that should be the goal, man. Milton Williams did not play on first and second down with the Eagles, so if that tells you anything about it. He is a pass rusher.
It definitely does. It definitely does.
Barmore is a pass rusher. Right? Those guys are pass rushing defensive tackles. Barmore can get you 10 sacks, but you can run at him, right? And you can push those guys upfield because they're always trying to get sacks. When you have defensive tackles like that, that's what they always do. You got to run the ball, guys. And then you do play action, and you got to attack the middle of the field. I even think I wouldn't expect like Jacoby Myers and maybe outside, and maybe I can see Trey Tucker kind of beating Carlton Davis, but Carlton Davis is so long. But Trey Tucker has a great release, and he can get physical. But this is gonna be like I said, it's gonna be a Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer game, and they're gonna be attacking the defensive line with the run game. I think that's gonna be the main thing that they do. That's gonna be the factor here, and I think they're gonna do play action. And like I said, if you got Brock Bowers in fantasy, and if you have something crazy happen with the tight end, you might want to pick up Michael Mayer. That's all I would say.
Yeah. So like I'm looking at their depth chart as well. I don't see anybody that's going to be able to really cover Brock Bowers. I don't see it.
I will say I'm gonna say Christian Ellis can cover, man. I will say that. So there might be. I'm not gonna say he can do that every single time, but I would say that there might be a time where he went because he hung with Tyreek Hill on a go route. So
shit, you might be able to do something. Be able to do some, but even so, for a full 4 quarters, I'll say like I'm not confident anybody's shutting down Brock Bowers for a full 4 quarters.
No.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, nah, that's not happening. Carlton Davis does pose a little bit of a problem, right? And I can see them saying like he's not Christian Gonzalez, but we'll put him on Jacoby Myers. You know what I mean? I could kind of see that. But like you're saying, if we're moving these receivers around, there's not really anybody you can really hone in on, because as far as after Davis, there's nobody else I'm looking at as far as their corners where I'm like, he's like that. We're gonna have a problem here. You know what I mean? Even their nickel, like I don't see a nickel that I'm like, oh yeah, we have a problem here. Like I don't see anything like that.
Yeah.
And I think people kind of forget too. They rebuilding they damn self. I mean, it's not like they're a whole finished product. They was just one of the worst goddamn teams in the league last year. So it's not like they just automatically fixed all the problems that was on there. Like their defense was ass. It was bad last year. I don't think they completely fixed everything. So I think we'll be able to take advantage of that. Who are you looking at that? I know you already talked about Bowers, all that. Is there a surprise person that you're like, okay, this dude could have a big game?
Like I said, Michael Mayer. I think Michael Mayer is going to be a surprise person that has a big game. Because I think they're going to try to make the Patriots think it's run a lot. So I think I'm expecting a lot of 12 personnel and them attacking the middle of the field. And I think that's going to be the goal, hitting the seams. Because if you have them in the position where they're stopping the run, they got 5 linemen. That means they're probably not playing too high. If they are, that's a disadvantage you're putting yourself in. So usually when you do that, you're in single high for the most part. So I think that's going to be kind of the goal, is to make sure that they're in 12 personnel. They can attack the midfield. That's what I think the game plan is going to be.
Yeah, and we'll see how good they can stick to it, because adjustments and everything going to be made. And messing with Vrabel, man, like I respect Vrabel's defensive mind. I mean, if you don't, you're kind of tripping a little bit. I mean, Vrabel is like that when it comes to defense and scheming it up. But again, this is why I said it earlier. Chip is probably going to be one of the most important acquisitions we made, because now I feel going into games we're not severely outcoached, right? Or like we're going to be out schemed as it is. Now, I want to ask you this last question. It's not offensive, but I know you watched the offensive film. Drake May. Right, going into his second year, right? I do like him as one of the younger quarterbacks, being of that next wave, you know what I mean, of guys in the league. But of course, it's his second year. How can we attack him, bro? Because I do like him, man. I think he can pose a little bit of a problem if we let him.
Yeah, I think with him, you got to change up the picture too. I think they got to show him one thing, show him another. But also, I think what they got to do as well is just play tight zone coverage, where they're, because in the Patriots offense and McDaniel's offense is so based on anticipation that he has to kind of figure out when to throw in between some of these zones. And I think the Raiders got to kind of close zones up, keep things tight, and make him hold the ball, and then make him check down a lot if he's not sure. Because I think he's not very sure in the offense. He's kind of thinking too much right now. And I think that's kind of his biggest issue, is he is thinking too much. And since he has that issue, you can take advantage of that. And I don't think the offensive line for the Patriots is going to hold up long enough for that to happen, right? So that's going to be the biggest factor, is kind of just making him throw into tight zones when he's trying to throw downfield, right? And also the biggest factor, too, is just tackling, because he is going to be checking down a lot, I think. I don't think he's going to be, throwing downfield that much, and they got to tackle. That's the biggest factor to me in this game. If they can't tackle, man, they allow these first downs.
Ooh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
It's gonna be a long game for them. But yeah, you need to try to make him read the field quickly and make decisions. And he said today that he's got to avoid Max Crosby. He's got to get rid of the ball. But if he's not seeing things quickly and he's getting rid of the ball, that's a check down. So then you got to tackle. That's the thing, and you got to be ready for those things, and I think that's gonna be the biggest factor. Is first, I think they got to stop the run too, which there is a Raiders' strength in my opinion. Yeah. But when it is passing downs, you want to make him check down and kind of just change the picture on him and make it a little blurry, because he's a little unsure in this offense. So
now I think that's. I mean, of course, Raider fans already know that we're playing Josh McDaniels, but that's a thought that I think a lot of us, it goes over the head, right? Because even Derek Carr, a veteran quarterback, it took him a while, right? And I don't even think he fully got it before he got let go to him to fully grasp the McDaniels offense. I don't even think Carr had the ability to actually even really fully get it down before he was even, let go. So I think that is something with Drake May. I mean, have you seen it in the preseason kind of already, where it looks like, all right, I'm trying to get this damn offense down a little bit? Because with McDaniels, a lot of people say it, right? It's like learning damn near trigonometry a little bit.
Mm-hmm. He struggled in the preseason. I just dropped the tape to the episode. You guys want to check that out? I kind of break it down. He struggled. He's not. That's what I'm talking about. He's unsure.
From the media, bro, you would think that he was doing what he's supposed to do. He having a great goddamn preseason.
Yeah, I mean, they scored touchdowns, but I wouldn't say that he's played well in the preseason. Right?
Team-wise, they playing well.
Yeah, they scored touchdowns, but I don't know how well he's playing. Right? What he's doing on the field.
Okay.
He did have one nice throw that he made on the sideline. If you're watching the game, you're watching on broadcast, you're like, oh, what a roll out and throw it. But he also missed 2 wide open guys before he had to roll out. So that's what I'm talking about, changing the picture on him and confusing him, because the problem that Derek Carr had, and any quarterback that runs McDaniel's offense, is that is based on anticipation. Like, you have to be a 90s quarterback, and a lot of these quarterbacks these days, they don't anticipate on inside routes like they should. And Jared Goff, Ben Johnson runs the same offense, right? And Jared Goff was terrific at that. Really being able to get rid of the ball in between zones and hitting a dig route. And that's what that offense is based off. And if Drake May can't do that on time, and he's got to wait a little bit, and he's unsure or something, like, I don't want to throw a pick here. Maybe they got him scared not to throw picks and turn the ball over.
Crosby and Malcolm will eat. Yeah, I get
exactly.
Okay, I get you there. And that's where, like you're saying, we got to get them in these 3rd and longs, though. Like, they can't run the ball. Now, if they're getting us for like 4 yards a clip and all that extra on the ground, that's going to be difficult. And the preseason tackling was not great. I will say that the preseason tackling from us was not great. So that is something that, to your point, man, if we are going to be forcing him to check it down and throw it quick and do all that, then you got to do your damn job. A 2-yard gain can't be an 8-yard gain.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Exactly. And I'm a little worried about that. I am.
Because it's week 1, they don't fucking hit like they used to. You know how it is.
And Devin White's out there. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that is that. There are a couple guys, bro. I'm expecting, to take a little leap, but maybe, and you can tell me how you feel. There's a lot of guys where it feels like we're rehabilitating them, right? Where it's like, well, if they come here, Peter get them right, and I feel like that's damn near a good chunk of the defense. Some people on offense too. The law of averages say that not all of these people are going to rehabilitate the way that we want them to.
Yeah.
Are you kind of on that mindset too, where you're like, I love what Pete's doing, but at the end of the day, we got to expect that some of these dudes are not going to do what we need them to do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I haven't seen anything from Devin White on film that would make me feel like that he's a better player. So I'm worried about him for sure. The thing is, like, Pratt's a solid player. Landon Roberts is it's hard to describe how well he plays the run.
Yeah.
That dude's he's a damn monster versus the run, but right?
I've seen him toss linemen like 3 separate occasions already.
He's a monster against the run. It's hard to describe. It really is. You got to watch it, and just because he's just so natural at it, and he's so good at it, and knows how to. It's just crazy to watch. But him in coverage is a problem.
Yep.
But the thing is, like, Pratt can kind of make up for it a little bit. Hopefully, Tommy Eichenberg can take a step. I'm really hoping on that. I'm hoping Eichenberg can become a better middle linebacker and kind of maybe eat into White snaps a little bit. But White worries the hell out of me. He does. I'm worried about that, and especially in coverage. And if he has to guard Henderson 1-on-1, I'm really worried.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Marcus, that's like telling somebody a horror story. You talking about Devin White and Travion Henderson 1-on-1? Well, we know how that's gonna go. We pretty much know how that's gonna go. Only thing I'm confident with Devin is if we're using him in that blitz role. You know what I mean? And we asking him to rush the quarterback. Well, he's natural at that anyway. So I feel like if we get him in that, that's good. But damn, I mean, like 2/3 of what we need you to do is the linebacker job. A lot of us aren't really confident in. So it's like, goddamn, what can we put you out there for?
Yeah.
But before we get on out of here, man, because we already creeping up on an hour. Definitely appreciate you for giving me at least an hour of your time. But I got a couple questions from the chat. Definitely want to get in. Space Beast asked, "What's the score predictions for this week?"
I want to say Space Beast. I want to save it for Friday Night Live, man. I don't know. I want to do that.
Hey,
I'll give you one. I'll give you one. Maybe I'll change it. I'll give you one. I said on the radio today. I said 21-17 Raiders. That's what I said.
I can see that. I don't see too high a scoring game. You know what I mean? I don't see too high a scoring game. Shout out my guy, man. Appreciate you. California. I like that. That's fine, man. Appreciate you for being here. Asked, will Marcus be going to a game this year?
I plan on it. I plan on going to a game. I kind of want to cover one this year, so I'm trying to get in that press box. So I want to go do that so I can get the locker room. But I definitely plan on going to the game, especially if the Raiders are going off for sure.
Fire. Yeah. I mean, this is the year I finally have to spend my own money to get tickets. So I see exactly what people mean. Where if they're bad, I'm not buying no goddamn ticket for these prices. Yeah, I definitely see that. Lake Show asks, I have an interesting question. How did the Raiders lose to the damn Packers in that Parsons trade? Could you imagine if we had him and Mad Max out there? It's mind-boggling. To be honest, though, Lake Show, I don't think we're ready for that as a team, bro. That's a win now move, and we are not close to that. I don't believe.
Yeah, but I mean, the rumors were that they were looking into it, so they think they're gonna win now. It doesn't matter what we think, dog.
Oh, that is true. That is true. Now, look, if he would have came here, damn on what I just said, I did a backflip on.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I say. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it, but like, yeah, I mean, that tells you that I think they're in more win now mode than we think they are. Because when you look at the roster, like, just no way you're win now mode.
Yeah. But I think I'm not. Look, that's your job, right? I don't want people that are in the building like, nah, we need one more year. I don't want to hear that from y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like you and I and everybody out here, we could say that. Like, oh yeah, they might need one more year. But if Pete came out there and said that, we be looking at him like, well, what the hell are you talking about? Then what is this year? So I definitely feel that. Now if it comes to fruition, we'll see. Have you had already a win-loss prediction already? You didn't already said that?
I did 9-8.
9-8.
Just to start. But the funny thing is, like when we did the schedule thing, I had him starting 8-3.
Damn. Damn. Nah, yeah, that's not good. Now that you look at it, you're like, shit, that's 6 straight losses. Damn. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's ugly. That's ugly. Because I had goddamn I had 8 wins. I got 8 wins.
Okay.
But I got us going back and forth. Like I got us losing that goddamn bye week because of Raider shit as of usual. You know what I mean? We never look good off bye weeks. Just regular shit from us. So we'll see. But 9-8 wins is where I'm at too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Because my mindset was that I think Chip Kelly's gonna start off really fast. I think the Raiders are gonna start off hot, more hotter than people think, and then it might just start, come to.
Yeah, it might fizzle out, especially if we got to start winning some games like 28, 24, 30.
Something, you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's going to fizzle out. I'm with you. Yeah. Space asks, can you tell us the night before your morning show asking for a freaking...
Yeah, I got you, Space Beast. I got you. I'll do that. They do repost it, though. They repost it, I think about around like 11 o'clock Pacific time. So just be mindful of that. But yeah, I got you, man. I got you. I'll make sure that I'll let you guys know for sure.
My boy Eric Raiders says 24-21 Raiders. I can see that too. Oh yeah, Space. I'll take 8-3, not the 1-6 after that. I'll take the 8-3 for sure, 100%. DJ asked for the last question, man. Which cornerback on this roster do y'all like the most and can see making plays?
I think Kayupli Kelly is a guy that can make some plays. I think he's gonna be play pretty well. I think he's good. It's a fit for the system and what they like to do, and just his natural abilities of tackling and being able to have pretty good ball skills. I think if there is gonna be a guy that can kind of take over in this kind of system where Pete Carroll finds that gem, and it might be him. That's the guy I would go for.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of with you. Now, me personally, I really like Thornton. I mean, not Thornton, Porter. I do like Porter. But the only thing, and this is the thing when we draft him, this is what kind of why I'm not really tripping on him right now. We know that he doesn't have that much experience, right? Like at the position, was it 2 years of cornerback play in general?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And your third ever year playing cornerback, you tell me your first week is Stephon Diggs? You're going to get cooked a couple of times. I mean, it's just what it is, bro. I mean, unless you're a generational prospect that nobody knew, right? Like a lot of receivers we go against this year, it's going to be B2A, and that's belt to ass. Like I see that a couple times this year. But how else are we going to figure out if he has something, you know what I mean, to work with? I mean, we'll be able to see pretty quick. I ain't going to lie if he is out there. So I'm kind of disappointed he's not going to be out. But then again, I heard Pete talking about some type of rotation over there. So
yeah, you're there to rotate him.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how great that's going to be when it goes over there. So you mean to tell me if our starter's getting cooked, the second dude it's going to be better than the starter? I mean, hey, I don't know, bro. We'll see. I'm not in the rooms, but we'll see how that goes. But I think Porter, he'll come on. You know what I mean? The light will turn on eventually. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'll say with Porter that, you didn't see much press coverage from them in preseason either. So that's the thing. Like, I don't think Pete showed too much in the preseason either. They kept it really basic, and they really feel like they're trying to get certain coverages and see what people look like in those. So we haven't seen him impress. And, every clip we saw out of camp was him impressing. He was dominating somebody. So that's the thing with Porter. We'll see how that goes out. But, we haven't seen them in press coverage yet either.
Yeah. And I can definitely say, see Pete saying like, all right, we know what your strength is, but we got to work on the weaknesses in this preseason. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We got to work on you getting the zones and all that. So I'm definitely with you. But that has been the show, ladies and gents. We appreciate our guy Marcus, as always, for showing up, man, giving us that insight. Of course, we all hoping for a win. I'm thinking we're gonna win. Marcus has already said we're gonna win, so it's looking good. Anything you want to go ahead and preview for the people? I know it's probably a busy week for you. We got the first week, so any shows you got coming up this week?
Yeah, I got the Taped Online episode previewing the Patriots is out right now, so go ahead and check that out. That's out, as we speak. That came out about 5:00, so check that out. Also, we got Friday Night Live, so that's gonna be happening Friday, so check that out. I'm also gonna drop a little 5th anniversary kind of song tomorrow, so you know what I'm saying.
Fire.
You guys get to hear me rap a little bit tomorrow, and then so I'll be dropping that because it's 5th year TDL, 6th season, 5th year, but it's we started in 2020, so it's our 5th year, so I'm kind of give a little celebration for that, so I'm excited about that. And then and then of course we'll be doing instant reaction, so just be on the lookout for that, guys.
Okay, all right, and man, 5 years. That's crazy, man.
I know.
I'm barely hitting 3, so got some ways to go, man. But definitely, man, y'all done made great strides in the 5, man. So hey, congratulations to y'all over here, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. You already know, man. Definitely, I got to get my boy Matt on here. One of these times, of course, gotta hit him up. I gotta hit up Glenn too, man. I always watch you guys Friday nights. I told you, my pop's always watching y'all. So every time, he be having me rolling, man. So I gotta get Glenn on here, man.
Yeah, Glenn's hilarious, Doug. Dry and hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him up, man. So definitely, I gotta get him on here. But again, appreciate you for being here. Y'all already know. Are you gonna be doing like a post game? Something after
instant reaction. That's the instant reaction.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So definitely y'all tune into that. Y'all already know what time it is. Tap in with my guy, man. But appreciate everybody for being here. Next show I have will be tomorrow. It's Blessed Breakdowns. Doing a little film for myself as well. But Saturday, we got our Good Morning Raiders, man, and we got a very special guest on there as well. So make sure you guys tapping in with us. But till then, y'all already know what it is. Appreciate everybody in the comments. Make sure you guys have a safe night. We a couple days away, man. A couple days away.
Close, man. It's close.
Yeah, 1-0. That's where I'm at, Marcus. 1-0. So we almost there, bro. But y'all already know what I say, man. We keep it authentic from the clouds to the ground on the Raider Rundown. We're gonna see y'all soon. Till then, y'all be safe. Peace and love. 1.